Aloha, guys. It's Aloha Friday. No work till Monday. Yes, it is Aloha Friday. Well, for those of us who don't have to work over the weekend, it's Aloha Friday. For the rest of you, I'm sorry. And I'm happy. It is Friday. I've got a friend's birthday party tomorrow, so I'm getting all set for that. Well, it's not supposed to be a birthday party, but we're going to celebrate anyhow. Any excuse to celebrate is always good. So we're going to go sing karaoke downtown. I got a room for about 10 to 15 people, and we're going to have fun. So, but let's see here. It is Thea in the house. Hello, 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 Miss Thea. I don't know if you got, I don't didn't get a check to see if you got my message or not, but you can always say no to this later. And but I'm doing it anyhow. And, but anyhow, let me see. Okay, I've got everything set up here. Oh yes, all the dogs want their treats now. It's like, give us treats, give it. Oh, look at this. She wants chicken, not beef. She's a little pain in the rear end, I swear. You did. Okay, sorry. I've been so busy, Thea, that I didn't even get to go back and check. So I'm happy. And Miss BC. BC and I've been talking about this. Jordan's in the house. Hey Jordan, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, my computer just turned off, did a flash, so hopefully it stays behaving itself. I never know with my computer if it will or not. So one of these days, I'm going to have to upgrade. I don't know when. I'm still saving up. Someday I'll get there. And so we are going to try something new today. I don't know about you guys, those of you coming in right now. How many times do you feel like you start following up on following a case? Okay, hearing about a case, things like that. And there's so many updates and you can't stay on top of the updates. Okay, I feel like half my life I'm thank God for friends and stuff like that. Because there are people, okay, there's people like BC Seal, KK, okay, all these people who will send me pictures and videos and stuff to let me know about these updates. Because otherwise I forget. And I don't hear the update till later or things. So I'm gonna try this today on Fridays, where we come together and pick a couple of updates. I can't go through everything, but in fact, already I had 6 cases I was going to go through an update on today. It's now up to 7 because Elijah has an update I forgot about also. And we got In the Bushes in the house. Hello, In the Bushes. How you doing, my dear? And Jordan is usually asleep by 9 East. That's the thing. I hate you. Honestly, Jordan, it's 4:04 in the afternoon here. The sun is up, but it's raining right now, so the sun is not up. But yeah, you get the idea. It's so weird when I talk to people or if I go on vacation to the mainland. Time is just weird. And but we'll see what happens with 404. If I have my window open right this way, but I close it so I don't get tons of glare during lives and everything. It's totally sunny out and behind the clouds. And so what I want to do is some of these cases we're going to do a little bit more. For example, Estefani, who you are seeing here, is a new case. We haven't discussed it. I came across it this morning. Thank you, BC. And I was going through reading things, and I'm like, okie dokies. We got actually, was it you or someone else? Someone else maybe. I got a lot of people sending me updates. It's also like the case of Jocelyn, who we're going to talk about later. I literally had 3 different people sending me information on her. So I wanted to address that too. Chris is in the house. I've been talking to Chris also. He's been sending me some good stuff too, especially on the Jocelyn case when we get to Jocelyn. And so we're going to try some things. But first, I did want to bring up Estefani. Guys, I know I say this over and over, and I feel like I am a broken record when I say it, but there is nothing out there on her. There are 2 groups. So yes, there are 2 groups, but those groups have just been created because this is just starting to break. It's a case of a family who is looking for their 13-year-old girl. okay, daughter, who is missing, went missing out of her house in the middle of the night. Um, it's an interesting case with things, and we're going to look at some video real quickly on that. But I wanted to get this out because she actually, okay, her name Estefani, as I mentioned there. Let me find all my notes here. There it is. They are from Arkansas now. However, they used to live in Oklahoma City. So what had happened was the family last September moved from Oklahoma City to Arkansas. So they still own their house in Oklahoma City. I don't know if they were planning on selling it and hadn't sold yet, or if they were just keeping it. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay, what does matter is they decided to go on a summer vacation. They were going to go to the beach. So to do that, they drove from Arkansas down to Oklahoma. Now, the kids all moved there in January. Okay, while it looks like maybe stepdad moved up there or someone else from the family moved up in September, the kids came down, sounds like after summer break, Christmas break. They stayed overnight in their old house. The next morning, they were going to get in their car and they were going to drive to the beach for the rest of their vacation. Something happened overnight. Now, is this a chance of a runaway? Very possibly started as one. I don't give flying rats whatever, whether it was or not. You guys know how I feel about people using the word runaway as an excuse not to look deeper into things. We've heard of cases right now. I mean, Houston. Okay, the 12-year-old in Houston who was just strangled. Okay, left her house, not running away, but just left her house. And so things happen. Just because you're going out under your own free will doesn't mean you're safe. And there's a chance. There's also a chance her parents do not think she ran away. Her parents do not believe that. And I'm going to believe the family. I am going to believe the family until I have a reason not to believe the family. Okay, I'm going to believe the family. And so Estefani, on June 13th, what had happened, and what I'm going to do is pull up some video in a second for you guys. And we're not going to spend tons of time on her case because I do want to touch on the other cases also. However, in this video, you can see her the night before. Hello, Miss Angie Marie. How are you, my dear? And she is, all of you guys probably can remember a time that you went on vacation and you get to a place and you have to plug in all your phone, your iPad, your laptop, charge your Apple Watch if you have an Apple, trying to get all those things charged. That's what you see in this video. You see it about 3:15 in the morning. You see Estefani trying to find ways to charge her phone. And at some point there, she disappears. And it looks like what her family thinks is she probably went out the side door or the back door. They don't think it was the front door because there was a camera on the front door. And that camera even went so far, and she knew this, to say, you are being recorded vocally. There was a vocal warning on it saying you are being recorded, which would have woken them up probably too. And so they think she probably went back, okay, and was planning to, in what they're thinking, go to the car and get a charger. Okay, she never came back from what they can tell. The next, about 45 minutes later, mom wakes up, to go to the bathroom. She goes, checks in on everyone in the house. And at that, Barbara, how you doing, my dear? Love you. And mom goes and checks in on everyone, and she notices Estefani's not in her room. And so from the video footage to that time, you're talking 45 minutes, pretty quick time frame here. So they all get in their cars and they start driving around town looking for Estefani. Couple things they have noticed since then. She did not take her phone with her. That phone that she had made a big thing about charging. And this is some of the reasons why they don't think she ran away. Okay, maybe she was going to meet someone outside. Who knows? Okay, but I bet you, and Barbara, taking that break, all of us got to do that at times. So good on you for taking care of yourself, because this stuff gets rough after a while for sure, and especially for families. And you need that break. So she goes and charges her phone, leaves to get maybe another charger, maybe to go out and say hi to a friend. Who knows? We don't know. The thing is, she disappears. Her phone is still plugged in charging. She has no shoes on, they discover later, because everything is packed in the truck, in their car, their whatever SUV, whatever it is. It's all packed there. The shoes that she had with her, okay, that day when they came into the house and everything, were her Crocs. And the Crocs were still in the house. So here's another case of someone going missing, not wearing shoes, which I'll still, for the life of me, I'll never understand. And so she was on Instagram. She was on Snapchat. There are chances that she was visiting where she just moved from. So yes, there are possibilities she missed someone and wanted to reconnect with them and all that. What doesn't sound right is why she would not let her family know she's safe. She's been missing since June 13th now. Today is the 21st. That's too long. Okay, if it was just a 13-year-old who was trying to go visit friends and all. Usually they're going to tell you something by then. And so let me bring up this video footage real quickly. This video footage was put together by the family. From my understanding, it was an inside video camera that they had, probably like a Ring Cam or a Wise Cam or something like that. And you'll notice with it, you hear a baby in the background crying at one point. Okay, so you hear the activity around the house. You see the dog here. You're also going to notice the time frames don't quite mesh. I think what the family did was they threw this together and just tried to edit as much together, not as an evidence of what happened, but more as a way of showing what she looked like. Okay, what was she wearing? Because this is what she disappeared wearing. And so let's look at that real quickly. Okay. Sounds like there might have been AC or something on there that she may have played around with, but she's looking for a charger. Baby crying at this point. Dog's laying there, so you can kind of play. Okay, this is different. Dog's changed position and all that. She's looking for a charger. She's trying to find a charger right now so she can charge her phone. She's looking around. That's the reason why her family thinks maybe she went out to the car to go look for another charging cable or something like that. But you can see what she was wearing. Okay, the pajama bottoms, the shirt on top. Okay. You don't hear, oh, shoot. Okay, sorry. You know why? I just thought, I'm going to upload this video. I'll make sure it has audio. I had to share it as a screen, not as an online thing. But trust me, there's a baby screaming at one time there. And now it just repeats itself. That's how long. So it's not super long or anything, but you can kind of get an idea from there. And I will upload the video. As soon as I finish this, I'll try to edit something together. And but it looks like at least 2 videos, if not more, where they've done that. So let me change that one out real quickly. Other stuff with her, and I just really want to keep her picture up here because family's been talking with friends. They're talking with the police. And I think the reason why we need the police to realize, guys, we should not have to be waiting for 10 days or something to pass before people realize runaway can still be danger. Okay, and unfortunately, that's usually what happens. We all know that, yeah? Okay, we hear it over and over that things aren't... Look at Maria. We're going to talk about Maria tonight. Okay, that took a while before things really, really progressed to that next level. And now we know how scared law enforcement is for her. there's a $50,000 reward for her return, information leading. So they have talked with friends. They've talked with other people that she knew, because this was where she used to go to school, okay, up until 2024. And there was a question, could she have been with a certain boy? So they went and checked there, and he said no, he hadn't seen her or nothing like that. Suggested another girl's house. They checked that, nothing there. Because of that, the police have told Dad, I'm sorry, there's not much we can do. And that's frustrating for them. One person has mentioned, and I haven't looked at it carefully, but that video, it looks like when it turns on, kind of flipped on for a second there, that it looks like a gaming channel. Could she have been talking to someone on a gaming channel? And then that person was talking to her and said, oh yeah, come on out. Hey, since you're in town this time, let's meet up one time before, okay, you go back to your new home, or things like that. Family says she's a good kid. Okay, very family oriented family. She was very involved. Her social kind of consisted of basketball and softball. Okay, but even then she had, okay, supervision from people. So it's not like she'd been out running around or things like that, according to family. Right now they have talked about how they put just on one car. Stepdad has made the comment that he's put over 1,000 miles on the car, or who I think is stepdad from the messages. Other family have done the same thing driving. They put up over 800 flyers everywhere. So right now, the police need to up the ante. I cannot find a single news media article about Estefani. Not a single article. Location she was, that I don't know. Where in Arkansas, I don't know. They've just been saying Arkansas. Maybe we'll get some more, because like I said, this is probably the first day this has hit the news. They did have her on TV. Okay, see, I've missed this. Okay. So if I can get more, I'll definitely, okay, there might be a follow-up live we can do or something on this with some more information. Right now, what we're trying to do is get more social media to cover her. That way, regular mainstream media might do the same, because she's in Oklahoma City, potentially somewhere, or something even worse. So we've got to find whatever we can on that. Now, before we move on to the next, they did 15. So it was one of those, keep an eye. Well, those 15 seconds, to be honest, are better than nothing. Okay, it's frustrating. You want to know more of the story. Who is she? Things like that. But that's the starting point. So I'm happy that we're getting at least the 15 seconds now, because I was really having problems finding information. If it hadn't been for her family, I would not have found any information whatsoever. So that's good. That is actually very good. So she was last seen in Oklahoma City. As it says here, she is 5'2", 130 pounds. She's got, okay, brown hair, gorgeous long brown hair, actually. Brown eyes. She was last seen wearing the t-shirt and the red checkered pajama pants. And we've got phone numbers here. I'm not sure where those actually connect to. That is what's being advertised. I don't think they're the police. Okay, because again, and I'll be honest, guys, this is what happens when family don't feel like law enforcement. Okay, and we know law enforcement, they're super busy. Okay, but when a family doesn't feel like they're getting the support from them, okay, then they start wondering, well, should we have tips go to you guys or to us, and then we'll be the middle person or whatever. And I can understand that. I totally can understand that. And so please help me. I put this out on Discord, Facebook, and my community tab. Please help share out her poster so that we can get that out there. I know there's a couple other channels who are going to do the same thing. So hopefully we can get her out there. So let's move ourselves up to the next case to discuss today. I'm trying to go back. I've had a lot of people asking me for updates on cases we've covered here, especially updates based off of um, news over the last few days. And gang, our Kansas moms have had an update. This week there was a court hearing that happened. Interesting. If you guys remember when this first started, okay, there was this big thing about how you had 5 different people involved. And actually, at first, it was only 4. Remember, the 5th person came in after the fact. And when they first brought them all in, okay, for charges and all that, they had all 4 of them and all their all of their lawyers and everyone in the small, teeny, tiny little courtroom. And there's been some question, okay, and other times just bring them in 1 or 2 at a time. Well, they had another one. And this time again, they literally had all 5 of them, okay, all of their lawyers, everything in this one courtroom. Okay, you're going to hear, I'm going to play an article in just a second about it, but they literally had the jury box set up for 2 of the defendants and their lawyers. And so, I mean, it's just amazing to see all that. So let me, I'm going to bring some things up. I do have some articles on a couple of these things today. But here we go. Hopefully you guys will have audio on this one now because it's a little different. So hopefully it'll all work out. So here we go. News Nation. This was on Banfield earlier this week, 1 day ago. So yesterday, actually. Here we go.
National correspondent Brian Enton was jammed into that courtroom too, and he joins me now live. I was dying to talk to you about everything, not just the map that we put up, but the weirdness of having so many of them in one small courtroom and what it was like to be in there with them. So take me there and tell me everything.
Yeah, I think awkward is a good word to describe it, Ashley. First of all, we've seen over and over again the way they bring them into the courtroom. You know, they've got them shackled, the bulletproof vest. They walk them in 1 by 1 through the parking lot. And then once they got in the courtroom, there's the video right there. There's Grandma Tiffany when they brought her in this morning. I asked her a question, by the way, and she would barely even look at me. She just walked straight ahead. Anyway, once they get into the courtroom, in the past, they brought them in 1 by 1 for their part of the hearing. But today, as you mentioned, they had them all together. And it was a bizarre setup because they had to cram a lot of people in there. You saw the map. They had to put up in the jury box, it was Tad Cole.
So I'm going to pause that real quickly right there. Let me get rid of closed caption for a second so you can see. So this is how it looked in the courtroom. Literally, you had your judge. You had Cora here, Tiffany. Okay, so Tiffany kind of got the focus spot, the spot that would normally be for them. Okay, which kind of interesting, makes kind of sense, but interesting how they did play with that. Then you had Paul, and then in the jury box, they literally set up tables for Tad and Cole. Rather than bringing each of these people in individually, they ended up doing this, which was so interesting. But that gives you a better, let me pull closed captioning back up for y'all. And
Cole Twombly. And they had 2 white card tables that they put up in the jury box. They separated them. So you had the suspects at the table and then each had their lawyer at the table. And it was a little awkward because when they had to walk up and down those stairs up into the jury box, you know, they're shackled. They could barely get up the stairs. So they were up in the jury box. In front of the jury box, you had Paul Grice. They had another table set up right there. And Paul Grice was sitting there with his attorney. On the other side of the courtroom, on the other side of the judge, was Cora Twombly. Then at the defendant's table, at the big defendant's table that's always there, that's permanent, you had Grandma Tiffany, which I found to be kind of interesting because, you know, investigators have said all along, she's the mastermind behind the whole thing. She got the main table sitting right there at the big defendant's table. Then, of course, you had the prosecutors, and it was full. There were at least...
You wonder how much did they think out the placement? What do you guys think in chat? Do you guys think they thought out the placement of each of these people? Okay, how would they put the Twombleys? Notice the Twombleys are separated by as far as they could be separated. okay, rather than putting them near each other or stuff like that. How much of this placement was purposely figured out? What's your guys' thought in chat on that?
Four defense investigators sitting right in the front row, and then, as you mentioned, also victims' family members. So it was full. It was
Tim,
awkward
hello,
with them all
hello.
together. You can only imagine, Ashley. They likely haven't seen each other or locked eyes since they were all arrested.
I agree, BC. I really think they had to think that out. I mean, I could kind of see them put, okay, grandma where they did with her. But the Twombly's, when you start looking at that side of it, you're like, no, there is psychology behind that. There's definitely psychology behind that. Again, hey, B Tim, and hello, Lioness. How you doing with your little peeps in there? Hello. I don't know if those will show up. Let's see if those will show up. They show up, the little peeps. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah. It's interesting how they play that little type of game, psychological game there.
So I was doing a little reading up on your notes while you were in there, and something just jumped out at me. It was the Twomblys, right? They're not together. They're actually apart, facing each other across the courtroom. And like Mr. Twombly's lawyer is a woman and seemed to be like way more friendly than you would normally see in a courtroom. And that's Cora looking across at her husband.
Yeah.
What happened? What was going on?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was strange. So first of all, you mentioned they're across from each other. They locked eyes. At one point, it looked like Cora maybe was almost crying a little bit. But Cole Twombly has this female attorney. And at one point, he now has kind of a buzzed-shaved head, and she's like rubbing his head, Ashley. She's rubbing Cole's head. This is the attorney.
Seriously, guys.
Rubbing his head in the court.
Can you see that? An attorney rubbing someone's head. Okay. The person they are representing. Okay. And I get it. I get it. I remember when my brother got a buzz cut when he, was way back high school days and all that. You wanted to go, ooh, feel that, feel that. But in a courtroom, I'm like, what the? And with his wife, literally right across the road. Oh my gosh, it's no way. No way. It's like, it can't even be written. Yeah, just slightly inappropriate. Yeah, totally. And the amount, I mean, the disrespect, first of all, for the courtroom in my eyes, okay, to be doing it. It is so weird. It's there, and but how is that playing with the psychology of the different people? Lioness. Oh, baby, rub my bald head. Yes, exactly. So weird.
Courtroom and almost like leans over and is leaning on him, which everybody in the courtroom noticed. And the thing I was wondering is, I mean, you've seen this sometimes during a trial, attorneys will sort of try to humanize their clients. They might touch them a little bit, try to show that they're not monsters. But this wasn't a trial. I mean, there's no jury there. And I was just wondering what Cora Twombly was thinking while this whole thing was going down.
So weird.
Well, and I'm also thinking, what was that lawyer thinking? Because you should not be, sampling the buzz cut of your client and then, relaxing teenage movie theater style with your arm around the back of your client's chair, especially since the dynamic is that his wife is right across the way. What was that like? Was she upset? Was she crying?
How you doing,
did she
hon?
eventually look away? How did that go over?
I mean, honestly, our eyes were so locked on what was happening with the lawyer, I actually didn't look over at Cora at that moment. But throughout the entire thing, Cora just seemed to be actually the most emotional. She was teary-eyed. She looked like she was emotional. The others, not so much.
I can see that. I mean, if she's watching this happen with her husband, she's also just knowing she's up on murder charges and stuff like that. Okay. Donna, welcome, Donna. And it's just so, I mean, you can see how crazy her thought process must be at that point, how emotional things must be for her. And then when she finally gets into a courtroom where in her eyes, maybe she's like, I finally get to see my husband and all this other stuff. And then she looks over at this. That's got to be ridiculous. Can you see what that? No. So, hello again, Donna. And who else just popped in? QRPB's in the house. How you doing, my dear? I wonder, you know what? That's a good point there. Is there a past relationship? This is small town. This is definitely small town. So maybe, okay, maybe I suspect a lot of these people may have gone, and I don't know how many of them went to outside, okay, lawyers in the big cities or stuff like that, but something's definitely kind of weird in this. It amazes me how people with great big degrees can be so lacking in common sense. Yeah. It's just totally that when I heard that, I was just like, you're kidding me.
Really didn't show much emotion at all. Grandma Tiffany, you remember last time we saw her, she had that really tight braid. That was the thing I remember about the last time I saw her walking in. She didn't have the braid this time. It was only partially braided. Her hair has turned much more gray. And she, again, there she is when she walked in. I mean, she doesn't look at anybody really. Barely makes eye contact with anybody. She's a serious woman, it seems. And she marched right in that courtroom and didn't really say a word.
You can see what we kept hearing about. Okay, the whole time Veronica and Jilian were missing, we kept hearing about how people were feeling threatened in town and how there was all of this interpersonal stuff going on. You can actually see it happening now in court. And that's what blows my mind, is that even in court, we are seeing everything we heard about.
Well, she didn't say a word, but you talked to some court watchers. I mean, listen, there's a big fascination, not just in that little town and that little panhandle, but all across the country. Some people who were in court came out of court to talk to you. Tell me what you found out.
Yeah, I think the fascination and the big question right now, especially with them all crammed in that little room together, is who is going to turn on who? And that's what happens behind the scenes at this stage of an investigation. And the prosecution oftentimes hopes for it, that someone's going to turn on somebody else and they're going to get some info. And who's going to try to save themselves? And that's what a lot of people in the courtroom were thinking about today. Take a listen. Do you get the sense that they're going to turn on each other at some point?
It makes you wonder if somebody won't start talking. It'll be interesting to see who, because I think somebody will talk.
Who do you think?
If I was picking, Cora, maybe, or Paul, one of those two. Tad is very in tune and he likes watching what everybody's doing, because he had eye contact with everybody. He was watching the whole thing, between the lawyers and everything. So it was interesting.
I can see the other thing with Cora is, and this is why I'm like, that lawyer is, if she's doing this type of thing in the courtroom, I mean, again, Cora may have been like, I finally get to see my husband again, okay, and get that. You know how when you're having a rough time and you can look at a friend or a significant other and get that sense of support? Okay, just with an eye, okay, look of your eyes. You can see it come across and you're like, okay, I'm better now. I'm not alone. And yet she turns across. I mean, that's probably not a good idea with that lawyer and all, because I could see Cora more and more possibly turning if things like that start up.
It's interesting she said that about Cora. Again, she did appear to be sort of the most emotional in the moment today in court, Ash.
Well, if I'm Cora and I'm looking at my husband doing, footsie and fingersies across the courtroom, I might consider flipping on him. Who knows? That might not be the best, strategy I've ever heard of in a courtroom. Brian Enton, thank you so much for that. I just love when you give us this color, and especially in this bizarre case. So thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching.
Okay.
Go to news.
So yeah, I love Brian when he gets going on his stuff. And so that's where we are with that. We're waiting now on the next time that they come up to court and everything. Hopefully things will keep moving and all that. But these were all pictures of each of them as they were getting out of their vehicles yesterday. And so we'll see how that one goes. So moving on, I wanted to actually, this one's going to be not quite as long, but I wanted to mention this. We talked about, how many of you guys, put a one in chat if you remember us talking about Ashley Weigel. This was maybe about a month and a half ago, maybe. Put a two if you don't remember Ashley's case. This last week, Ashley's mom, Ashley passed away a while back. She was handicapped, basically bedbound, unable to move on her own, for those of you who don't remember. Okay, we're getting some ones in chat, so you guys are remembering all that. Okay, awesome. And she wasn't able to take care of herself, move, make her needs really known easily and all. And we found out that we do have a two here too. Good. And that's great, because I know there's others who will watch this on replay who won't remember stories also. Whoopsie, sorry. And it was found later on that she was having seizures. So her mom had gotten, her doctor had said, can you get me some videos of these seizures so we can figure them out? And when they went and got that video camera and put it around, in her room and all that, her mom started looking at the video footage and found out that Ashley's stepdad had been sexually assaulting her. And most likely that was the reason for her decline. And she wasn't eating as much. She was losing weight. Her seizures, were increasing, all of that. And so ended up, our dear Jordan. I love seeing you here, by the way. Yeah, Jordan, it was really, it's horrible. What happened to her. And because of that, they were able to get him in jail, and he's in jail and all that. However, he took a plea deal, and her mom discovered very quickly that the way the law is written, if you sexually assault a child, you are held to a higher penalty than if you do that to an adult. The thing is, within an adult, you have Ashley, who was an adult, 31 years old, if I recall, but she might as well have been 2 years old. And yet he was going to be treated at the same level as someone who had essayed an adult who literally could fight back and say no and all those other things. In my eyes, everyone should be treated the same no matter what, but definitely, big difference here. So Ashley's law is to ensure that a person's mental state, their mental abilities, are taken into play when plea deals are done. Now, this guy is serving the right amount of, he's serving pretty good time and all, but she wants to make sure no other family ever has to go through what she had to and what Ashley had to. So he's one of those, I agree with you, agree completely. And so Ashley's mom, if you go to Ashley's Law on Facebook, she actually is fighting for this law, first in Utah, and then she wants to make sure it's covered on a federal level. So she's been in Washington, D.C. the last few weeks, and she just got home this last week. And she was able to talk to a couple of the different legislators and introduce them to who Ashley was and what she's asking for. So please go to Ashley's Law. I don't know. Actually, let me see real quickly. I'm going to share this with you guys real quickly. Oh, wait, Angie Marie. Angie, you are amazing. Angie just shared the actual Facebook page. Please go there and follow it. I'll be honest. Ashley's mom also uses that as a place where she can talk to Ashley. Ashley's no longer with us, but she uses this as part of her healing process. And she's a special woman. She's a special woman, like so many of the parents who fight to change things after their child is hurt. It's amazing. And she's an amazing woman. So I wanted to share that. As time goes on, I am no, Jordan, I had actually done that until in the middle of the last interview, and I was like, "Oh, I better fix that real quick." So, um, and also, actually, let me real quickly. I am going to pin that message real quick, so all you guys can get it straight up there. Um, so please keep an eye on that because at some point we're going to be asking all you guys to help out with Ashley's Law. We're going to ask you to go to your legislators. We're going to ask you to sign maybe a petition once one's put together. So please help us out with that. And so moving on, like, and yeah, hearts definitely for, okay, Ashley and also Ashley's Law. Keep it in the back of your head. Okay, let me ask you guys here. This is Jocelyn Nungaray. I don't know how many of you guys, we have not covered Jocelyn's case here at all, because it kind of happened quickly and started resolving to the justice level pretty quickly. Put a 1 in chat if you know about what happened to Jocelyn. Put a 2 in chat if you do not know about Jocelyn and what happened. For those of you who may not know her name, this is the 12-year-old who was killed in Houston earlier this week. From my understanding, she had left her house. And while she was out just wandering around town, just being out there, okay? A young preteen walking around town and all that. You've seen her face somewhere, but yeah, okay, there you go. Even me, it was just, I've had a lot of people contact me, but I hadn't been able to really dig until today on this. While she was out, it looks like what happened is these two men, you just came across this today too, Angie? Yeah, it needs to be spread because this is another one. You're going to be hearing about Jocelyn on mainstream media. You already are, to be honest. There's video footage, photo footage, as you can see, of her with another gentleman and then another one. Probably shouldn't use the word gentleman with him because they're not gentlemen by any means. And all of a sudden, there was a call from the police that a young girl had been found. She had been strangled and was in the river, from my understanding. And that young girl was Jocelyn. And so they were looking for, they had all this video footage with the pictures, as you see here, of the one guy in the kind of pinkish shirt and then one with the two guys there. And they were looking for these two guys, far from gentlemen. Exactly. I hate using that word on people when they are basically assholes. And but they put out the word, they put the pictures, video of these two men up, and they were arrested, and they are now being held for her murder. There are a couple other things, and the reason why I think you're going to probably hear more and more about this in social media is not social media, but mainstream media, is it's looking like these two gentlemen, one of them definitely, but it looks like both of them are from Venezuela, and one of them actually was arrested for crossing the border illegally on May 28th. He was arrested and let go with an ankle monitor. We don't know if that ankle monitor was on at the time of her murder. And but it looks like both of these are, they didn't have any background criminal behavior on file here in the US, but did not take long. And also, has she, Chris? Okie dokes. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are starting to cover her, and I almost covered her from the beginning. And yesterday is when I would have and did not. But I'm happy they've got her. What I want to do real quickly is show you guys the most up-to-date information that I seem to be able to find on this case. Let me just, and then we'll go back into that other one after that, because I did not say I was going to talk about it, but we do have some updates on Elijah Elijah Vue. So we are going to talk about Elijah also tonight. And I'll just so you know. But here we go. This is from the local Fox network. Okay, with this.
Begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl and leaving her body in a creek.
Fox 26's Jonathan Mejia is joining us live in North Houston with the latest on this story we're continuing to cover. Jonathan.
Houston police sharing more details about the horrific scene they found here near the creek where they found 12-year-old Jocelyn, her dead body in a creek. Now we know that 2 Hispanic men are being charged with capital murder.
Hearing that the gentlemen that were in these surveillance videos, that they have been found and they've been caught and they've been taken in for questioning, it was the greatest news to hear this morning, to be woken up with.
The last few days have been surreal for Alexis Nungaray and her family. Her 12-year-old daughter, Jocelyn, was strangled and her body left in the creek.
It's just like, still just doesn't register. Just, I can't believe it's her. And, you know, it'll take some sinking in.
In a multi-division operation.
Could you see if they had been allowed to stay on? That's the thing. They got caught quickly, thank God. Because if they had done this with her, who other, and I hate to say it, I know they're looking at essay kits and stuff, and they haven't spoken to that whatsoever. Hey, Christine, how you doing, my dear? And but I suspect that my gut is saying that's probably going to be part of that. Yeah, this case really, I mean, she went out just to enjoy herself, and that's why when we're looking at other cases, when we're looking at Estefani, who we talked about at the beginning of this live, I don't care if it's a runaway case. Okay, a young girl walking around out there, too much can happen too quickly. And also, let me go back to this.
Operation led by Houston police, 21-year-old Johan Jose Rangel Martinez and 26-year-old Franklin Jose Peña Ramos, both Venezuelan natives, are now charged with capital murder.
Charges have been filed. Now we want the justice system to do its job. If there was ever a circumstance where you do not give someone bail, this is it.
Investigators did not go into specifics on how the suspects and Jocelyn met or how Jocelyn died, only offering that those details are still being investigated, but they have submitted for a sexual assault kit to be completed.
Suspects seen meeting the victim and talking for a few minutes while they were on Kirkendall. Later, the suspects and the victim walked together to a convenience store. After a few minutes, all three together walked to a bridge where ultimately Jocelyn was murdered.
Police say the men have been cooperative, and so has the family of Jocelyn's 13-year-old boyfriend, who was the last to speak to her on the phone. Alexis says if she could have that night back, she would have hugged her daughter and never let go.
I would have stayed up with her. I would have just lacked sleep. I would have gave her the biggest hug. And I
let her go.
Probably wouldn't have let go.
We're waiting.
That's the thing. Your kids, you want to give them a little freedom, okay, to grow up and stuff like that. And things happen. The mayor has been outspoken. Yeah, this one's really, I mean, there's also the case right now in New York City. I think this is actually going to also become an issue because of the two being most likely, at least one definitely illegal, and the other one potentially, it looks like. I haven't gotten verification on that yet. New York, we have a 13-year-old who was just essayed, okay, by an illegal. I suspect we're going to hear about these cases more and more. I am going to say this, okay, too many young women are hurt, illegal or legal. Okay, they're hurt, and we need to learn how to stand up and say enough's enough. This is not good. And yeah, you can feel the pain. You can feel the pain in mom. And you can see that mom is still in shock. Mom is still in shock. She's barely been able to work through all this stuff yet. Did you see the one where 5 guys were arrested for kidnapping? Which state? I might have missed that one. See, that's the thing. And that's one reason why I'm kind of doing this true crime update thing on Fridays. We're going to try it. because I'm missing a lot of news because I get you can only focus on so many different things at once, and you forget this here or you miss this here, or it's kind of like people even with Caleb. They're in Corpus and they'll tell me, I'll get a message saying, I didn't even know we had him missing here. And all because people are not, okay, we don't always gather our news from the same places. So I'll have to definitely, BC, I got to take a look at that one for sure. And also, it's just standing up and saying enough's enough is what we got to be doing right now.
On Houston Police to release an updated photo, the booking photos of the two men, so that we can bring you those updated images both on air and online at fox26houston.com. As for the immigration status of those two, we have reached out to Homeland Security to get confirmation if they're undocumented or not. I'm live in North Houston. Jonathan Mejia, Fox 26 News.
Still so many questions, Jonathan. Thanks for that report. You can stay up to date on this case on Fox Local.
What is happening with that one right now, what I can tell you, what I was able to get beforehand, there are the two different guys. The first one's name is Johan Jose Rangel Martinez. I have heard he's from Venezuela, but I don't know if he is here legally or not. So I don't want to say anything one way or another, but I have heard both of them were from Venezuela. The second one, who is Franklin Jose Pinon Ramos, again, Venezuela, he was caught crossing the border illegally into, I think it was El Paso, if I remember right. And at that time, he was arrested. He was let go on May 28th. Guys, today's June 21st. How long did it take for something to happen? Okay. And I'm not saying all illegals are no, that's not what I'm saying. It's like all humans. There's dirt bags and then there's good people, no matter what. But right now, in this case, these two did quickly do some pretty, May 28th to win this sweetheart. Okay, look at that smile of hers. Look at that smile of hers. Okay, was killed. And that's not right. That's not right. We need, okay, that's, anyhow. Oh, thanks, BC. I'll take a look at that one for sure. I will for sure. So that's what I do know right now. He did have an ankle monitor on. We don't know if it was on or not at the time of her murder. So I'm sure we'll hear more and more about that as time goes on. So, next one I wanted to cover, I actually did not do this, but Elijah. I'm not sure how many of you guys have heard the updates on Elijah. But this did come out, okay, actually on Fox 11 today. Yesterday, there was a hearing, and interestingly, Mom's lawyer is talking about potential resolutions here. So I don't know if there's a deal getting close to being, okay, struck. Something's happening here. I don't know what it is. Okay, for those of you who remember, Elijah was that absolutely adorable. Let me see if I'm sure it has a picture here, pinned somewhere. Of course it won't pop up. Of course. Oh, here. Let's see. There's Jesse Vang. Let's skip the ad. Jesse Vang is the boyfriend who decided he needed Elijah to be taught how to be a big man. And also, we've got Elijah right there. So Elijah is the little guy who has gone missing, and they're still looking for him. And I think we just hit, 4 months or something? I think it's 4 months or something like that. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, she sent him there for disciplinary reasons. He's still missing. Resolution. Yeah, she's trying to make a deal. I think she's trying to work a deal of some sort. I'm going to play that video in just a second, but I thought I read somewhere. Okay, let me see. February to March. Yeah, 4 months. 4 months does sound just about right now. So let me go and do the video they have here so you guys can hear this latest, because I actually came across this as I was getting ready for the live. So I haven't gotten to listen to the whole thing, but I wanted to hear. Okay, for sure.
Today marks 4 months since
4 months.
three-year-old Elijah
Never
Vue
mind.
was
There it
reported
is.
missing in Two Rivers. Now, the toddler's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, are facing child neglect charges in connection to Elijah's
That I'm
disappearance.
not sure.
Now,
I'm
his
not sure.
mother appearing in court today, where her attorney hinted at a possible resolution to the case. Fox 11's Emily Matesic brings us the latest.
Dinosaurs and teddy bears still sit outside the Two Rivers apartment building where Elijah Vue was reportedly last seen on February 20th. His missing person posters continue to hang in storefront windows in Manitowoc County, too.
It's like he's still missing, you know, and you still have to participate and remind people that he is still there. I mean, his family is missing him, and I hope he's missing them. I hope that's the direction.
It's been an agonizing 4 months for the Manitowoc County community, many holding out hope the boy will be found. Now 4 months later.
It's a sad situation all around, and that's the best way to put it, I guess. It's terribly sad when a small child goes missing in our community.
In an update posted to social media this week, the Two Rivers Police Department said law enforcement searches for the boy continue locally, as well as in the Wisconsin Dells and Portage areas. Federal authorities are following leads too. All of this while the wheels of justice are still turning. Vue's mother's attorney appearing in Manitowoc County Court via Zoom Thursday afternoon for a status conference.
Is it just me, or when you guys see certain pictures of certain people and you know the whole story, you just get this feeling in you that's like, I see pictures at times and I'm like, come on, innocent until proven guilty, innocent until, but I get these feelings in me and I'm just like, I want to scream. And it's in the eyes. Yeah, it is. It's in the eyes of these people. You can see it in certain people, you can see it in them. It's just something, and you try not to allow your own personal thoughts come into play. But I had a friend years ago who used to be able to tell me she could read people just by looking at their eyes. And the older I've gotten, the more I feel like, yeah, you're right, you can. And you got to be careful, of course, but yeah.
The attorney hinting to a possible resolution to the child neglect charges Katrina Bauer is facing.
I need to speak with Ms. Bauer. We may have a resolution. I'm not 100% sure.
The district attorney said she's
So that came out of the hearing, from my understanding. And the hearing, you can actually watch the hearing. I did not know at the time on Fox 11's channel. I think it's Fox 11's channel, or one of the channels. I'll find it somewhere. If anyone's interested, I'll post it to Discord. But I don't know what she means by that. But I'm thinking it's a deal, because she's saying she needs to talk to his mom about it. Okay, it's sounding to me like a deal or something going on.
prohibited from speaking about an open case. So when I asked her if the resolution Bauer's attorney referenced in court was some sort of plea agreement, she said she couldn't answer. We could learn more when Bauer is back in court on July 1st. Reporting in Manitowoc, Emily Matesic, Fox 11
10
News.
days from now.
As for Jesse Vang, the man who reported Elijah Vue missing, he returns to court June 28th for a status conference. Vang has pleaded not guilty to one charge of chronic child neglect. A trial date has not yet been set. And police do continue to follow.
So I'm wondering if she's
in from anyone. And if you have any information about Elijah, you are urged to call the tip line number you see there on your screen. It's 844-267-6648.
So hopefully someone else is out there, but
and as mentioned, flooding is
really hoping that maybe, just perhaps, maybe she is going to speak and say something. It would be nice if she would actually be a mom and come to her son's rescue and let everyone know what happened. I mean, it's not that hard to do that. It's not hard to do what's right. Okay, you just have to take that step and do it. Okay. Yeah, chronic child. This case still, I mean, it's been 4 months. I mean, and it feels like we're no closer to finding Elijah. I guess we are. I guess we are. And hopefully in the next 2 weeks and all, we'll hear more and more. And hopefully the rest of his family will finally get some sense of closure on this. Yes, there's always hope, but sometimes hope looks differently as time goes by and all. So that's where we are on Elijah's as of yesterday. And wanted to, let's see, who do we have next here? Seraya. Most of you guys know what's been going on with Seraya and all. Let me do this real quickly. Yeah, that family does need closure. They definitely need closure at this point. So many families do. That's what's so frustrating. Seraya's family needs answers. Okay, the Harmon family needs answers right now, and I am going to say one. I'm trying to stay fair to all sides because right now there are 3 families who are hurting in this case. All 3 families are people who are hurting, and but Seraya is the one who is in danger and needs to be brought home. Someone needs to call. So for those of you who were wondering about this, and I'm going to show you guys a quick clip. There was a raid on Aaron's mom and dad's house. During that time, his father was taken in for questioning. We have not seen any arrests whatsoever. There was rumor of an arrest happening at one point, but it looks like no arrests or anything going on. However, police have been very quiet since then. So I think they have a lot of evidence they're working through. A lot of people have wondered whether or not Aaron's family have been involved, kind of laundry style, in helping him since this happened, whether it was planning from the beginning or just helping once it got kicked into action. And if so, then maybe they'll get some of the answers from computers and phones and stuff like that. Is Sebastian still, you know what? Yeah, I feel I haven't heard much of him. If I get, YouTube doesn't want to get into the drama, but has he been? No, Sebastian has not been found yet. And that's the thing. We had a lot of people who went missing at the same time, and they're all still missing. And most of YouTube is stuck in with the drama side of it, of various cases, but the children themselves are still missing. And you're welcome, Christine. You're welcome. And that's the thing. That's my issue. Okay, we need to stop. And even here with Seraya's case, it can turn into drama very, very easily. And that's why I've appreciated the Harmon family, because they're not allowing it to do that. They're trying to get this about Seraya. They care about Nadia and Aaron, and they want them safe too. I've said, again, we don't know if all 3 of them are in Mexico, or if that Cadillac being seen crossing into Mexico was a decoy. We don't know that. We have no idea about any of that stuff. And so that's why the raid was so important at that time. So let me go ahead and pull up the information. They do have a little bit more video footage of the raid. Well, they were serving a search warrant is what they were doing, is they were serving that. So, and we got how you doing, my dear? And Barbara, love you, my dear. Get some sleep, my dear, and have a great weekend yourself. And also, this is actually from 2 days ago, when they actually did have the search warrant being served at the Aung house. So let's see.
Breaking news out of Moscow this afternoon. The FBI, along with the Moscow and Pullman Police Department, searched a home in the case of a missing 2-year-old. The home belongs to the parents of Aaron Aung. There's a warrant out for his arrest for failing to return his 2-year-old daughter, Seraya, to her mother. 21-year-old Nadia Cole, on the picture on the right, is thought to be with them. Nadia and Seraya have been missing for...
I'm going to say something here. A lot of people have talked about kidnapping versus custodial interference. Right now, Aaron has a warrant out on him for custodial interference in the first degree. They have kept it at that. And a lot of people have said, Aaron, Nadia, come back before things get worse. There's a couple things that could get worse. Number one, like I've said before, if you're in Mexico, okay, all three are in danger, whether it is from a trafficking angle of someone seeing a sweetheart like Seraya and a gorgeous young woman like Nadia and deciding they want to pull them away from Aaron. Okay, and you can fill in the blanks there however you want to do it. Okay, but there's another way things could get worse. If that custodial interference is upgraded to kidnapping, okay, penalties become much worse. So things can get worse. Okay, come home, bring him home. Right now, hopefully Seraya is healthy. Okay, and can come home and life can continue. You can answer questions. You can do whatever needs to be done. And all, but you just need to come home. Okay. Amma, how you doing, my dear? And you were mega late watching a premiere of a document because of interesting. I've been watching The Resident on Netflix. Oh my God, so good. I am so addicted to that show right now. I mean, so addicted to that show. So let's go back.
3 weeks now, we take you live to Moscow, where Hunter Bertram has the very latest. Hunter.
Yeah, and what we know now is that multiple law enforcement agencies raided the home you can see behind me earlier this morning in search for any evidence that might point to where Nadia Cole, Aaron Aung, or his 2-year-old daughter are. At the scene, law enforcement officers were seen seizing multiple bags of evidence. Pullman police say the search warrant authorized the search of the residents, vehicles, and persons. We also saw a couple suspected to be Aung's parents who lived in the house being questioned by law enforcement. Pullman PD says they were not arrested. A neighbor of the raided house expressed fear and concern about the whereabouts of this missing 2-year-old.
All I know is just scary to see her, like this kid taking his 2-year-old daughter and not bringing her back. It's just hopefully they can get the kid back and safe. You know, that's more important than anything.
Stenzel told me that he's never really interacted with the family and says they're mostly quiet. He also mentioned he's run into Aaron Aung and never felt as if he would do anything like this. And law enforcement began to clear.
And that is one of the things police from the get-go have said. They don't think Aaron would ever want to hurt his little girl. The Harmons have said the same thing. Okay, they also feel that, you know, Nadia is loved, okay, by Seraya. And they think Nadia will make sure Seraya is healthy and happy. And, but they've got to bring them home. That's what they've got to do, is just bring them home. And, The Resident, is that the alien? No. However, I've heard about that one. I've got to watch that. The Resident is it's on Netflix. It's like 7 seasons, and it's ER meets House. Put it that way. Really good. It is. If you like medical TV shows, drama type things, definitely. It's one of those you can't stop watching. It's that good. So, okay.
Clear out of the area about 15 to 20 minutes ago, and for now we don't have any information on whether any of the evidence seized might have been a possible tip to where Cole Aung or his 2-year-old daughter might be. In Moscow, Hunter Bertram, 4 News Now.
Okay, so that's that one. And I've been updating you guys pretty much throughout the whole week on that case. So not much happening on that. We were hoping we get some sort of answer by now or some sort of movement on something. Do find it interesting. The Aung family has gotten very, very quiet. Let me check Aung family statement. Let me see if the website, I haven't, okay, the website's still up though. For those of you who knew and had followed earlier, the family had actually posted the Aung family had posted a statement, aungfamilystatement.com. And I kept wondering if that might come down at some point, but it has stayed up actually. So who knows what their thought is on that one right now. And that's the thing. That's the thing, Cat Mama. So many people are like, oh, no one would hurt so and so. They're not going to hurt them. You're on the run. When you're on the run, too many things can happen. You may be trying to be as safe as possible. It's Sleuth Mom. Hello, 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 my dear. You got to rewind. Yeah, you got to rewind, girl. You got to do what I have to do for your lives all the time. Love you, my dear. But see, that's the thing. There are so many potential scenarios that could put someone in danger. Not just normal life. I mean, I could get in a car and be hit by another car or something. That's just normal danger. Okay, but there's other things that you get into because of reckless driving. Okay, you see a cop car coming towards you and you run in the other direction and you get in an accident. Okay, you see someone sees you and they're like, oh, I recognize that kid, and they decide to take things into their own hands as a vigilante. There's too many things that could become dangerous. So she needs to just come home. You can let family, okay, you can make reports or whatever your concerns are once you have that happen, but you just got to get it. And also, I did actually, let me just real quickly, BC sent me real quickly that article she was talking about a few minutes ago. So I'm going to pull it up and we can watch it together real quick. It was about the 5 men who were arrested after allegedly kidnapping a girl. So I have not seen this yet, but I thought we can watch this together and then we'll finish up with a real quick update on Maria. There's been one little update on that case also. But let's watch this one together real quick. And I think I shared that out. Let's make sure I got the right thing shared. Yes, I do. Let me pull this down. Here we go.
5 undocumented immigrants are in jail right now
they're all
for
undocumented
allegedly kidnapping a 14-year-old girl from Cass County.
Logansport police say she was found over 300 miles away near Hannibal, Missouri, just hours after she was picked up from her home.
Our Chase Howell talked with police who say that they used her cell phone to track her down.
That's right. Logansport police says they used the girl's cell phone to track her down and also partnered with Illinois State Police and Missouri Highway Patrol to bring her home. Most of the people driving into Logansport usually live there or know someone that does. But on Monday, police say 5 men drove into the city and picked up a 14-year-old girl they never met.
It's an eye-opener, you know, from what I deal with my kids to what I see out here.
Jason Rosie is a detective at the Logansport Police Department. He says the sergeant handling the case called him in the middle of the night to ping the girl's phone, or in other words, use her phone to find her.
I mean, I don't think they would have found her without it. So, yeah,
Oh my God.
it was a huge part of that whole.
And we talked about Estefani this morning. It feels like this morning when we started this live. She doesn't have her phone. They can't track her down with her phone. So if she has been grabbed by someone, whether it started off as a runaway and turned or whatever, okay, same with Maria. Maria does not have her phone with her. I don't think. No.
Scenario.
That ping helped police here in Indiana locate the girl in Missouri just hours after she left. Corporal Justin Dunn with the Missouri State Highway Patrol says after Logansport police notified them of where she was at, a trooper was able to pull the car over on US 36 highway.
Obviously, they separate the individuals during the course of that traffic stop to get everybody's side of the story and who they are and where they're going and where they're traveling to. And that was obviously done in that investigation. And through that, with the person being in question as being reported missing, their identity was identified and confirmed to the trooper by an interview with that individual.
Both Corporal Dunn and Detective Rosie say the girl had been communicating with one of the guys through social media. They asked parents, no matter where you live, to keep an eye on your kids' phones. At last check, police say the girl's dead.
I was wondering, did they grab her because they saw her walking down the road? But now we got our answer. Someone had been talking with her.
Dad went to go pick her up to bring her home. Reporting in Logansport, Chase Howell, 13 News.
Wow, that is scary. That is, jeez. You got something, Chris? And I'll keep an eye out. And I do have, okay, I got a little bit longer I can be on. And also, I'm keeping an eye on things real quickly also. But yeah, if they had filed it as a runoff, and that's the problem. Okay, what if they had, instead of reporting it the way that it was reported, if the police officer had said, well, she's 12. She ran away. I'm sure she's just mad at mom and dad right now, and she decided to run away. Exactly, BC. How many times do we have to see when the wrong decision could have led to the wrong idea? We were talking about medicine a few minutes ago. That's what medicine has to do. They can't just sit there and diagnose with the easiest diagnosis that is out there, because there could be something much more difficult to deal with that it actually is. So you can't just do things like that. Wow. That's nuts. That is so, thanks for sharing that, BC, by the way. So Maria Gomez. So we've been talking about Maria Gomez-Perez. She actually went missing right at about the same time as Nadia Cole went. This is the one that I covered instead of Nadia initially. And they are still looking for her. She's still missing. Okay, they have upped her reward, the reward for any information leading to her, to $50,000, which is wonderful to hear. But they've also gotten one other thing done. The way they are approaching this disappearance as a community is just amazing. I mean, this was the case that I talked about where they had gone and taken a poster and put it on a DoorDash or Uber Eats order. Okay, now what they're doing is they're doing something that I think Angel's family did, I can't remember, but some other families have done, and that's creating a website specific to her. With all the updates, anything that happens is being put there under news. It's including, how to put in tips. It's all there. So it's not just, usually so much of our updates, information type of things come through Facebook groups or whoopsie, I'm dropping things. This is an actual website where people can go for more information. So
search for a missing girl from Hall County. The sheriff's office says the reward for the safe return of Maria Gomez-Perez is now $50,000. Maria, just 12 years old, last seen on May 29th.
Fox 5's Christopher King spoke with a cybersecurity engineer who's lending his expertise in the search for Maria. Christopher joins us live now with the details. Christopher?
That one's been
Courtney, Russ, Maria Gomez-Perez has been missing for about 3 weeks. That cybersecurity engineer says he felt compelled to try to do something to help find her. The disappearance of Maria Gomez-Perez struck a nerve with Sergio Franco.
I got in Maria's shoes, what it would be like to be a 12-year-old who is missing and was taken away from their family.
The 12-year-old was last seen on May 29th at her home on West Side Drive in Gainesville.
I mean, she's a child, and to be gone that long, that's a serious issue.
The Hall County Sheriff's Office, Homeland Security, the FBI, GBI, and Gainesville Police are tracking down every lead. But so far, no sign of Maria.
So many possibilities where she could be and what could have happened to her.
You don't know anything about what is happening. And you're so lost and you're so scared. It is painful.
The sheriff's office on Wednesday announced the reward for Maria's safe return is now $50,000. Franco, a cybersecurity engineer, launched a website to help in the search.
I wanted to have all that information available and ready for people to access on the go.
HelpFindMaria.com aggregates the latest news, how to sign up to volunteer for the search, a place to submit tips and contact information for the Hall County Sheriff's Office.
A website that has all the information regarding about the case, where people can go and get all the information they need about it.
Franco hopes the site can lead to finding Maria.
One thing that I want to come out of all this is to help find Maria.
Now, we'll have a link to helpfindmaria.com on our website. Now, as for Maria, for herself, she stands about 5'3", weighs about 110 pounds. She has dark hair and brown eyes. Contact the Hall County Sheriff's Office if you have any information on her whereabouts. Live in Hall County, Christopher.
So that was good to find it. Yes, Wrigley, you never get to make it over here. Wrigley's like, Cassie usually takes over when there's a show going on. So, and yes, and but yeah, so that was good to see. They're really looking at any way they can come across Maria. How can they get the word out? How can they share the word out with people? And which has been really, really interesting. Yes, by the way, Chris, yes, and I initially was not going to cover that as much because it seems like it's everywhere right now, but I will pull up a video on that one real quick also. Chris was asking about Rachel Morin's case, and yes, they did not only make an arrest this week, but they have denied bail in the case. So I'll pull that one up also in just a second. Just so those of you who have been following that case. So, and guys, let me know what you think about this. Is this helpful for you guys? Is it just repeating information for you? Is it nice to have a weekly update? And if it is, if it's something you guys like, I really need you guys' help in sharing updates with me, whether it's on Discord, whether it's on Facebook, or just sending me links on occasion. But if this is something that helps you guys, I'm game to do this on Fridays. I really am game to do this. So let me go ahead and pull up Rachel's thing and we will finish up with that. Because I do know a lot of us have been following Rachel's case also. So here we go with Rachel's. I don't kind of like in the case, okay, that we were earlier talking about with Jocelyn. If they had given them bail after that, it would have just, yeah, I'm happy they did deny it. And I'm hoping we have the same thing happen with Jocelyn's case too. So not to mention other ones that we're hearing about right now. I'm going to say this 10 months, but they found him. So every time we start getting into this thing, oh, it's been how long since, okay, Elijah's been missing. It's been how long since Sebastian's been missing. It's been, okay, Caleb, all these names. Okay, and we're like, God, how much longer? You know what? Not only do they find the people who, okay, committed things like murder or rape or any of those things, but there's also just as many cases where they actually find the person who did, okay, did disappear. Okay, we've had cases where autistic teenagers, okay, reappear a year, 2, 3 years later. That's why you never give up. Hope would be helpful if I can hit that. And also, yeah, there's so many cases, and I do have to say it is. There's a lot of cases we're following right now. It seems like they all come in bunches, but right now we're definitely dealing with a lot of cases tied in with those who are here illegally. I am going to say that, and that scares me because if we could catch, I'm every one of us is here, okay, because someone in our past came to this country. Okay, so that's not the issue. The issue is just we need to be verifying who is being coming in. And some of these people coming in right now, I mean, they're coming in and they're skipping out of that. Hell, one of them in this one case actually had an ankle monitor on. And so, yeah, he was I mean, Rachel, I mean, out there was nothing. She had nothing that she could do to protect herself at that point. It's so. I'm happy to hear. I did see. Where was it? I noticed someone. I don't know if it was it BC. Yep, it was. You appreciated how we did this. Awesome. I was wondering how you guys thought about this. It is definitely a little bit different. It's a lot of different things. Short focuses on them, but I know with me, I'm trying to stay on all these cases, especially the cases that mean a lot to me. And the longer I'm following cases, the more there are that I thought it's okay. Yes, there's the cases like, okay, Ariel, Gianna, Okay, there's all the other cases of people on the mainland and stuff, and all, and every day there's updates on these people. So, aha, no problem, my dear sleuth. Love you, my dear. I'm actually going to be logging off right now, also, and all. But if you guys do like this, let me know. If you're watching this on replay, type it up in the comments so I have an idea what you guys think about it. And please consider, if you have any ideas of stories that you'd like to see, let me know. Cases you'd like to discuss. Okay, send me something via email, text, messenger, you name it, whatever you want to do. So other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I am going to be singing karaoke tomorrow with a bunch of my friends. So I'm going to have a fun one. So hope you guys have a great one. Like I said, if you're looking for a good TV show to watch, check out The Resident. If you like medical stuff, it's really good. After that, I got to figure out what I'm going to watch after that. Good night, Christine. I'll see you guys all later. I was going to let you say good night to all the dogs, but the only dog I have left is the one who's totally asleep, laying on top of my diamond paintings. Broken tail. Yeah, she's asleep. She's asleep. I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Aloha, mahalo, love you guys, and I'll see ya Monday.